What's up, everyone? Today is Monday, June 8th. I want to go over a trade recap this morning. I ended up taking a long for a 1.23 RR roughly. This is my fourth time recording this video. I just figured out that I cannot go full screen on my OBS or else it will mess up my width and height of the recording. So I've been over this concept and this trade recap many times. Going into this morning though, on the 4-hour chart, we had this pretty clear demand zone that price had pushed into on Friday. You can see we had this 1,300 point drop here on Friday, pushing us into this demand zone with a nice buy post market on Friday or on Sunday. I'm sorry, on market open on Sunday. Scaling down onto the 1 hour though, we didn't have much other than obviously we were in a clear downtrend. Okay, market structure had shifted on the 1 hour at these candles here. So your 11 o'clock and your midnight candles on what is that, Monday and Sunday. So with this high we had implemented here, or put in here, we broke it at 3 a.m. on Monday this morning, so that basically confirmed that trend was switching from a downtrend to an uptrend. It's called a market structure shift. I'm going to delete this though just because so it doesn't get confusing. So that's another reason why I had took the long. Also, we had a 1 hour fair value gap right here. Okay, let me write that there, so label that. We had a 1 hour fair value gap with a 7 a.m. candle. Scaling down further though, we also had a 15-minute fair value gap here. So we had a 1 hour or a 15-minute inside of a 1 hour right here. I'm gonna delete that though just so it doesn't get too confusing. But we can see going into market open, we had obviously bulls were rallying off of this demand zone where maybe institutions maybe had filled orders and whatnot. We also had put in this low, which I was noticing pre-market here. So we put in that low there. Price had a beautiful push and also a buy. So I was on the 5-minute here. So with this candle here at 10:05, with this buy pressure from the bulls after this liquidity sweep here at the 29,362.75 level, I had scaled down onto the 1-minute chart where I was looking for an inversion fair value gap off of the liquidity sweep, which was right here. And we inverse this fair value gap here at 10:09. So my entry was at the top of this candle. My target was these pre-market highs right here. I'll label them for you. These pre-market highs here. Thank you. Pre-market high. That was my target, and my stop loss was going to be at this low here. And my exit was with this candle here. So, I also forgot to put in, this was my break even. Put break even there. So that's when I moved my stop loss from this red line, or this bottom of this red box here, to therefore break even. So I was at no risk here at 29,553, well into profit. The trade was a 1.2 RR. It was a 150 point trade. It was a beautiful trade overall. There are a few things I didn't love about it, which is what I would like to go over right now. So on the, I believe it was 15-minute, right? Okay, so on the 15-minute, I'm turning on my trading sessions. This low that we had swept going into market open and market open, this low that we had swept here, it wasn't a prominent low. Prominent lows are things like this. So prominent lows are going to be this low here, and also this low here. This is where institutions have their sell stops, or well, people are going to have sell stop orders. That's how institutions are going to fill their orders, is they're going to have sell stops below those lows. And that's where the institutions can fill their big orders and then rally price after that. So the only thing I didn't love is that this was not a prominent low. So it very well could have stopped me out and I would have lost money. I was just on the right side of guessing this morning, pretty much. If it was a prominent low, I would have loved the trade even more. The real reason I had just sized down a little bit, I would have been full sizing here if we took out a prominent low, but I was more half to even 3/4 sizing with this position, and it was mostly because we had that low get swept inside of the hour and the 15-minute. They were both unmitigated also. Another thing that kind of drove me towards the long was also just talking, you can talk about standard or like standard deviation and price mean and price deviating away from the mean. Things like that are kind of concepts I can get into in another video. I don't want to get too much into them, but basically we had this huge extension on Friday away from where the mean was, so you can call them your moving average lines, things like people use EMAs, things like that. I personally don't, but we deviated really far away from the mean. Price likes mean. It's all a bunch of numbers and math and all this kind of crap. I don't want to get into it too much, but that's another reason for the long. But now that we're kind of after the trade, and even during the trade, I was still thinking about this. So I want to say it was on the 1 hour though. Yes. So let me turn off this trading sessions. You can clearly tell from Thursday we had put it, or even Wednesday actually. This is the trend we're in. This is a clear downtrend. This easily could be a lower high into a lower low, which is kind of what price is starting to look like it's doing. If we look at just price a little bit, so we have this really high extension, and we can see we're throwing wicks. And the lower you go on the time frames, the more wicks you can see. So that's another thing, is like the overall trend is still bearish, even though we had that market structure shift, which actually, now looking at it, if you want to get really into it, oh no, we haven't. I'm sorry. We haven't shifted structure yet, but if we close below this candle low here, we'll still be in a downtrend, even though right now we're in an uptrend. Overall, though, the trade was great. It was a 1.2 RR. I'll take that all day of the week, especially when it's a 150-point trade in profit. Just if we would have been a prominent low, and also the overall trend is still kind of bearish, even since Wednesday. And we had NFP last week and heavy impact news. I didn't hate the trade, didn't love it necessarily, still took it though. I was just on the right side of guessing, like I said. Other than that, though, that's all I have to talk about in this video. I will tell you right now, this is obviously going to be a trade recap. This is for your intermediate people that know what I'm talking about when I'm saying market structure shift, liquidity sweeps, institutional orders, sell stops, buy stops, all that kind of stuff. My next video will be on liquidity, talking about why it's important and then why I use it, etc. Other than that, though, that's all I got. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, all right?